Hey everybody, Harris here with iDownload Blog. So in this video I want to present 10 tips that I think will be both useful, practical, and hopefully novel as well. I haven't seen these tips on the internet elsewhere, at least most of them I haven't. I'm hoping at least half of these are going to be new for you, the viewer. I've made a couple other of these useful tip videos which people have really liked. I'll leave those linked in the description. Let's go ahead and get started right now. Okay, so number one is actually in the calendar application, and this one's kind of interesting. So if you go in and add a new calendar event and you go into the time to schedule it, if you double tap the minutes, you get into 1 minute granularity instead of 5 minutes. And this is interesting because this doesn't work in, say, reminders, but in calendar you can double tap so you can see it goes from 1 minute increments to 5 minute increments just by double tapping. So if I want to set my alarm for 9:53, I can, whereas before I would have to do 9:50 or 55. It's a weird little trick, but it's something that I did notice. Next, so of course you know that you can press the 1, 2, 3 key on your keyboard to get into the other keyboards, and you can do a number or whatever. But something that I found that's pretty cool, if you hold the 1, 2, 3 button, you go to the key that you want. So if I say exclamation point here, I press it and let go, it'll automatically go back. Whereas before, if I just tap it and then do that, it will stay. But if I'm just trying to add one key, I just hold, bring it over, and it brings me right back to the keyboard, and that's really handy. So you can see that difference. Drag over, let go, and it'll bring the keyboard right back if you just hold that 1, 2, 3 key, and that is great. Now next, you know if you hold on a text, you can get the more option, which allows you to select multiple texts and then you can forward them or delete all or cancel. But you can also get into this just by pinching in. So you can see just like that, you can very quickly get into this menu, and that is actually very nice because it just is simple. It's very easy. Now this next tip won't count against the list of 10, but just so that you know, you can hold to get into your quick responses, or you can double tap to get into it. And hopefully you all know that, but just in case you don't, you can double tap or you can hold. Let me know if your team double tap or team hold for the quick responses. I'm definitely double tap. Okay, next. So you know that you can pick up an application and bring it to the corner and wait and it will drag. But you can just pick it up, and instead you can just swipe with your other finger, and that will take you exactly where you need to go much quicker and more efficiently. So that's very nice. You just tap it and switch between the pages, and you can drop it wherever you want. Now, again, another tip that I won't count against this list, but I've mentioned it in a video previously, you can actually tap multiple apps at once, and they will collect together, and then you can drag them wherever you want and drop them, and that is amazing. It's one of my favorite tips. And again, I've said this one before, but just a little freebie for you. Next, if you're somebody who closes your recent applications, which I am not one of those people that does that, but if you are, instead of just doing the archaic one by one, you can actually use multiple fingers. So 2 or 3, and sometimes even 4, although that gets a little tricky. Oh, there we go, 4. So I just closed 4 right there. That's really great if you're somebody that wants to do that much more efficiently. There you go, multiple fingers to close multiple applications from your multitasking drawer. Next, if you are in a numbered or a checklist on your notes, you can actually swipe to the right or left to indent or less indent, dedent on notes. So again, I have pizza here and pizza again. If I want to bring that into a sublist, I just swipe to the right and that brings it in, and then I can undo it or redo it by going to the right or left. And that's just an easy way to make it a toggle and to bring it to the right or left. In the wallet application, of course, you have all your cards and stuff like that. You can actually tap and hold and rearrange depending what you want, and whichever one you leave on top will be your default. So you can see you get that a little bit of an alert there. And if you want to make a credit card your default, so that when you go into your Apple Pay, it'll go to the top. So if I go into Apple Pay, you can see that Apple Cash is currently my default because I have it up top right here. So whatever I want to be my default, you just drag it to the bottom of the list, and you can arrange just like that. Next, okay, so there's actually a cool little trick in the timer. So of course you set a 12-minute timer to take a little bit of a nap in between homework sessions, and then you snooze about 10 times. But what you can also do, instead of having it play a sound, when you're done, sorry if that triggered you, you can actually do the stop playing button down at the bottom. And this stop playing button is actually pretty cool. So it works kind of as like a bedtime timer. So if you're listening to audio or something, it will stop playing your audio when this goes off and it won't make any sound. But what it also does is it acts as a nice timer if you want to give yourself, 10 minutes to use your phone. Because if you're using your phone when this goes off, it will lock your phone and it will make you type in your passcode, which is great. So if you want to hand this to a kid or something like that and you want to give them just 5 minutes to use it, just use this little stop playing timer, and when it goes off, it will lock the device. And it's actually a really useful tip, and I like it for a bedtime timer or when I am just trying to give myself only 5 or 10 minutes to use my phone, and then it's a nice brutal reminder after that. So I hope these tips were useful. Let me know if any of these were new for you. Hopefully some were. I'm going to be making another useful tips video either next week or in 2 weeks, so stay tuned for that. But thanks very much for watching.